Yo, JD here, Tyrrell Limus, and this is Inside Line Racing League Canada. And I'm not sure completely what round this is because I've missed a couple of rounds this season. I'm pretty sure I missed Baku and Monaco, and I think there might have even been another round as well. But I won round Spain in this league, so that was a really, really good race. Probably one of my best races that I've ever done. But this one here, you can see, if you haven't been following me for a little while, or my last couple of videos at least, this is my first, I would say, first proper race on my new wheel, which is the Fanatec Club Sport V2 with the DD1 direct drive wheelbase. And yeah, as I said, I've said it in my streams quite a lot, it's a massive, massive difference to what I'm used to, which is the Thrustmaster wheel. It's just something, a complete different animal, and it's going to take me a long time, I think, to get used to this, because the load cell brake is, you have to press it a little bit harder than what I did before. Did a race around Bahrain with this wheel, so this is not my first one with it, but that race there I just did not have the right settings or anything at all, and I only had about half an hour to set that up out of the box. But this one here, I would say, is my first proper one where I feel a bit more comfortable with the settings, but still having to kind of relearn how to drive, and it's going to be a grind. I just have to be patient in myself. It's very, very frustrating when I feel I could just definitely just gain a lot more time by just going back to my old setup and everything, but I've got to keep with it. I've got to keep grinding with it, and each lap I do and each session I do, I just feel that tiny bit more comfortable, and then still have to tweak the settings here and there. But yeah, coming to this one, again, as I said in my streams, I'm not particularly confident, and a track to have, well, Bahrain and Canada would not be the first two tracks in mind to learn a new piece of equipment. But coming across the line, we've done a 7.9, which is, I really wasn't unhappy with. I think that was a pretty decent. Pole was expected to be like a mid-7, maybe a low 7 on a really good lap. On the last lap here, I was up, but then I hit the wall of champions coming across the line, and we do another 7.9. So potential was there, I think, for maybe a 7.7, probably, if I absolutely maxed out on it. But that puts me, you can see here now, P6 on the grid, with pole being a 0.4, very nice lap from Carl Mitchell and Snaz Eving, who are very, very quick in practice. For Shade surprise, not getting pole position, where he'd got a 7.7. So it's looking actually much better than I thought it would, and that definitely gave me a little bit of boost in confidence as we're going back to the grid from the formation lap here. Starting P6, going on the soft tyre, 35 laps of this race, and that means the strategy is really kind of open of what you can do, either one stop or two stop. And you can see here there's an empty grid slot in front because I think someone has actually disconnected. I think that's Infamous, I believe, who's actually disconnected, so very unfortunate for him. But now we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, trying to get a good start, putting in Rich this time, which I find to be a little bit better, and we get a very decent launch. I think we've got the best launch on the grid here. We're going to go round the outside of WR Verstappen, which gives me the inside for the right-hander. That's what I was really hoping for, and we're up into P4, 2 positions because someone was missing on the grid, and so from P6 to P4, a very good start so far, and Surprise hasn't made up any positions, and that's good because I expect him really to be the man to beat. As Syra, I'm not sure what happened to him. I think he just had a very poor qualifying here, so he's a little bit out of position. And we've got Snazzy Evings in the lead and Carl Mitchell, who are both very, very quick drivers, but this is kind of good for me because they're not really used to being in the lead. So I think they're probably going to feel quite a bit of pressure, pretty uncomfortable, because they've got the likes of Surprise behind them. And yeah, this is a good position. So my aim here really is just to try and hang on, really, if I could just hang on, because as I said, I'm not comfortable around here, and you know, I just need to just give it more time. I think another month or maybe even 2 months I'll be super comfortable. But right now on this lap itself, I was kind of surprised that I'm actually still keeping up with Surprise. So we've got WR Verstappen behind, but he's not really put me under any real pressure at this point. And my goal right now was just to keep my tyres in check, keep the ERS low and the fuel low, not expend it as much as possible. So you're just going up to medium, and then we're going to go back down to 0. As Syra has left the session, so I think he actually hit the wall as Carl Mitchell ahead has actually hit the wall as well. You can see his end plate going off there, and Surprise has taken full advantage of that, and now I have to follow him. I have to get past him as quick as I can, because otherwise he is going to get away. But it's looking like there's going to be a good little scrap for the lead, so I don't think it's all over for the lead at all here. Getting a sloppy-ish exit on the inside there, but you can see Carl Mitchell, he's going very, very slowly here, so I think he's turned down his DRS, and I see this as an opportunity to go down the inside here. And I saw that because I knew he had a bit of broken wing, and I didn't think he'd really be contesting at them that much. And you can see on the exit here, we actually get a pretty decent gap, or a pretty decent buffer to him, and that was crucial. We needed to get past him there, because I think he would have helped me quite a lot through this apex, and I really didn't want to going side by side through this corner, trying to narrowly miss the War of Champions, as he's actually gone into the pits now, just confirming that he does have wing damage. But it's Snazzy Evening who leads with Surprise and myself in P3, so we're in a podium position, and I'm really, really happy about this stage. I think my Bahrain race is probably one of the worst races I've done. You can see the gap is 1.4 to Surprise. Joe, who started on the soft tyre, is only about a second behind, and you can see losing a little bit of touch of the leaders now. And I decided to go into the pits because Joe was starting to put me under a little bit of pressure, and this was a strategy I had beforehand. You can either do a 1-stop or a 2-stop. I've elected to go for the 2-stop because I wasn't really that confident with my raw pace, although it was actually doing okay. It was only a couple of attempts off the leaders. I decided to go for the undercut, and we're going to have to make another pit stop again, because I think going for 1-stop, you really have to be hitting like lap 9, lap 10 at the bare minimum here. So we've decided to bite the bullet and being a little bit more decisive in my strategic decisions, which has paid off for me recently around Spain. That really, really paid off for me. So now coming across the line now, we've got Snazzy Evening, who is now pitted, and you can see here he had a little gap on us, and you can see how much time we've actually gained. And he's pitted at the end of lap 7, so lap 8 now. He's on the medium tyre as well, so that just confirms he is definitely going for the 2-stop strategy as well. And I think it's Surprise who's trying to push it out for the 1-stop strategy, and going through the next lap, by the end of this lap, managing to stay in this DRS, and that is crucial. We can just stay in this DRS. He has slightly fresher tyres than me, as we're setting the quickest lap of the race as well. So just the pace is just getting better and better, and again, just feeling more and more confident lap by lap. At Surprise, that blue dot at the bottom of the screen, he's actually come out of the pits because I think he got damage on his end lap coming in, and I think he has gone onto the hard tyre as well, so he is almost out of the equation for this race. And again, staying with Snazzy Evening pretty well at this point, I think. So you can see here, let's see what the gap is to Surprise. It's about 7.3 seconds behind now, and Snazzy Evening is making a little bit of a move on Feisty's Head, who hasn't pitted yet on these medium tyres here. Just trying to get a nice-ish exit off here. Definitely not going to be close enough like we were to Carl Mitchell coming into here now. But hopefully the traction, the much better traction on these fresher tyres, we should be able to get a relatively good launch off here now. And you can see the gap to Surprise again. 7.3 again, so he's on the hard tyre, and he's got to make those last all the way to lap 35. He's got to do another 25. He'll definitely be doing more than 25 laps on those tyres. And we've got a 7.3 second gap, in the pit lane is relatively short here, so I think we're in a good position to actually beat him this race. As Feisty Ted, we get a little bit of a corner cut, he decides to let me go, and it's always nice when someone does that, so fair play to him. He doesn't need to do that, but fair play to him, makes my life a little bit easier. And now we've caught up to a little bit of a scrap in front, who's some medium runners who haven't pitted yet. Carl Mitchell is getting in amongst them, and we've got VSR Dralex, and I'm not quite sure who else that is. You guys can see there, that's Alba Ball. I'm going to say Alba Ball 1. And I think he's still on the hard tyre, but he's fighting like his life absolutely depends on it, which is fair play. This is actually technically for position because we've both got to stop another time as well. He tries to go down the inside of Snazzy Evening here, and we're going to try and get a good run on him, but they both have DRS, I think. He's coming under attack from Alpha Ball going to turn 1. I was thinking about going down the inside there, but the race is long. I thought there was no point, and now we're going to try and get some better traction and just doing that really tight line, coming just that better pure traction just on pure tyres, getting past him. And this race, I think so far we've driven quite intelligently, being quite decisive with the strategy, not taking too many risks, and we're still in the DRS of Snazzy Evening. So as I said, lap by lap we just keep on getting that confidence, and I just started to feel so much better with this wheel, and it just not nowhere near, well, not nowhere near, but I just don't think we're quite at the level I was before, but I think that's just going to take a little bit of time. But moving on to that end of lap 19 now, we actually lost the DRS to Snazzy Evening eventually, and you can see the virtual safety car has now come out because someone's retired, someone's crashed. And yeah, we just lost the DRS to Snazzy Evening, who pulled a little bit of like a 3-second gap or something like that. So yeah, just confirm we just still need to get that raw pace up to speed again. But we've been relatively consistent, and my aim in this race, as I said before this race on stream, was literally just to try and keep it out the walls. But we are picking up quite a few warnings. I think at this stage in the race, I do actually have a penalty. So under the virtual safety car, we are going to pit here. Be brain dead if you didn't pit under these conditions, because you're going to lose the least amount of time in the pits as Joe continues on the hard tyre. And we got Surprise continuing on the hard tyre once again, but we're actually going to come out not too far behind him. We're not going to get held, got held ever so slightly in the pits here. And let's see where we're going to come out. Looks like we are going to come out potentially in P5. We've got P1R Brown just crossing the line. He was actually overtaking me, but round the outside here, we should be able to get him back, which we do, back into P5, and that was pretty nice to get out ahead of him. Snazzy Evening's got a little bit of a gap ahead of me, but as I said, I think the expectation of winning a race around here, which a track I'm not a fan of, I'm really not a fan of, and just basically my first race on this, I was really happy with this performance so far. I think it, as I said, it was just a very smart, just clean drive at this point. But we are getting some track limits though, as I think that is Snazzy Evening who is out of the race, and he has hit the wall. He is hit, I think it is Joe Pedro ahead of me, because he is going very slowly as well. I don't know what has happened to him, and that means we could potentially have a fight for lead of this race. You can see Joe Pedro lagging quite horrendously there. I'm not sure what's happened to him, and I think Chase Surprise has also disconnected as well. So it's all kicking off on lap 21 of this race. Everything can just change in a complete heartbeat, but we've got Joe out in front, but we are on fresh medium tyres, and we're going to go past Surprise now, who's disconnected here. As you can see, just ghosting through him. We're in P2 in this race somehow from P6 on the grid, which I'm very happy with. I think the gap is about, I think it's about 14.7 seconds if I can just read that here. And we've got a nice little buffer behind as well. And you can see now we've actually started to turn up the pace, going purple in sector 1, green in sector 2. Let's see what the gap is now at the end of lap 23. It's 12.8 seconds, so we are closing in very quickly on Joe at this point. But again, have my teammate behind me on the hard tyre, but we've still got relatively fresh tyres. We would get another track limit warning. You can see barely going over the right line and still getting the track limit warning. So you could argue maybe a little bit of inconsistency at times, but I can confirm starting the final lap of the race, you can see what the gap is now to Joe. It's 10.5 seconds, so we did gain some time, but we have picked up a lot more warnings and penalties as well. I won't confirm exactly how many we have, but we have pulled away quite nicely from the people from behind. 12 seconds behind now, because I think they start to scrap a little bit, and Surprise has actually rejoined the session here. And as I said, I was just looking really just not to hit anything into the wall, just try and deliver just a clean drive, get no damage. Didn't want to get any penalties, but just try and push it about 80%, just try and get it round, a clean race without any damage at the start of the race or throughout the race itself, and just see where I've come with this, because it's still the beginning of my journey on this equipment. It feels awesome, but it's going to take some time to really feel at home with it. And coming onto the straight for the final time now, got plenty of ERS and fuel left as well, and we're not going to get risky going into the last chicane, just trying not to get any more warnings, penalties. So OMGH Joe has won the race on the one-stop strategy, and we're going to come across the line here to finish P2 in this race. And honestly, I was really buzzing after that. I did not expect that, especially around that track. If you would say I would to gain points on Surprise Sire in the championship and come P2 round here with my first race of this, I would absolutely take that. So I'm looking forward to the start of this journey. There's going to be plenty of highs and lows of this, but I will remain patient, and hopefully you guys will support me and remain patient as well, because I think it's like watching Arsenal sometimes. You know, sometimes I I either do really, really good in this game or it goes horrendous. So this is one of those races where it went really, really well. I'll show the championship standings here. Again, thank you so much for the support. It's been absolutely awesome. Hope you're having a great day, and I will catch you soon. Peace.
Catch your breath and you sleep now. Don't whisper, it's too loud. Live every beat per moment. So hard when it's so far and you're lost. Divided, then the hands break. Are you scared now? Don't be scared now. There's still time.